All right, folks, Dave Ramsey joins me now to answer your questions. Dave, this is amazing. We've got thousands of EntreLeaders all around the world. We've gone international now. It's so exciting. They're all plugged in. The posts are just flying through the app and on social. We love it.
That's fun. I love it. Welcome, guys. Good to have you.
Now, our first one is actually from an international EntreLeader here, Garrett. He's asking, I'm developing a family business. My kids are teens now. How can I bridge the gap between dad and boss?
Well, when they're teens, you probably don't a lot, other than you're trying to inject into them the character qualities they need to win in business, like honesty and hard work and, showing up, excellence, those kinds of things. Now, as they move into your business as adults, then you want to use what my friend Henry Cloud calls hats. And he tells the story of a dad who had a grown son working for him who was a donkey. He was not good. And he warned him and talked to him, and they tried to train him. And finally, he sees him yelling at an employee, and he brings him in, and he puts on his hat, and it says, boss. And he goes, son, I've been trying to work with you, but you just can't seem to get there. You're fired. And he takes off his hat, and he puts on another hat that says dad, and it says, son, I hear you lost your job. How can I help? And so the point is that when we're at work in Ramsey Solutions and Rachel Cruz is in a meeting with me, it's not daddy and daughter.
Yeah.
It is, she's a Ramsey personality, and I'm the CEO and the senior personality. Just like it is with Ken Coleman in the meeting, same exact thing, right? Now, when we're at home and it's Thanksgiving dinner, she's the mother to my grandbabies, which makes her really important. But so you change hats from dad to boss back and forth, and we talk about that a lot, to the point that the Ramsey kids that work in Ramsey Solutions don't call me dad at work. They call me Dave. Yeah. Because when you're in a meeting and you say, daddy says, the whole room tilts. And they've got unfair power that maybe their position really doesn't give them. Yeah. And so, my son Daniel is a senior vice president in the financial peace area, and he's very, very good at what he does. But when we're debating, it's as if I was debating with one of my other SVPs on a business problem. And then we go home, we take off our hats, put on son and father, and we're hanging out together with my son.
Yeah, that's so good. Great wisdom there. This next one comes from Jonathan in Georgia. How many direct reports is it healthy for one leader to have?
Well, we talked about that in the first session, that about a 1-to-5 ratio is roughly where you are. You can do 1-to-7, you can do 1-to-10, but unless all 10 are doing the same thing, it becomes very tough because you're trying to learn 10 different disciplines and hold people accountable in 10 different things and know everything that's going on in their life and love them well and serve them. It's very difficult. So 1-to-5 is ideal, 7 is the most. I've got an operating board member right now who has 6 direct reports, and we're challenging her to restructure her area because it's just too much weight.
Yeah, that's good. All right, this one comes from Denise in Florida. In a smaller community, coworkers become like family members. What is the best way to keep the role of leader but still maintain the friendly camaraderie?
It's almost the same thing as family in business. That I've got friends that I have hired. They were friends before they came to work for me. They're still friends, and then they have to be friends when they leave. And I won't talk to them about coming on board unless they can say, when you leave, we have to still be friends. That's our big agreement. And so that means that I'm going to be very, very clear with them. I'm going to be extra careful, like I would with family, to let them know what the expectations are or when they're afoul of the expectations. I'm going to give them extra instruction, extra chances to get back in, and not as codependents, but just to have given that relationship every chance not to be damaged. And so if you have a friend in the community and their emotional maturity is not strong, don't hire them. Yeah. Because that's going to come back and bite you later. It takes 2 emotionally mature people to pull off an entrance, a work time, and an exit and still remain friends.
That's huge. All right. Brian in Michigan asks, what is your best advice for a young leader that has recently transitioned within the company from having no direct reports to now having that responsibility?
Don't be a boss. Look at them and say, how can you add value to them? How can you serve them? How can I help you do your job better? That's your job as a leader. is to help the team do their job better. How can you serve them? And that doesn't mean do it for them. It doesn't mean go get their coffee. That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah. But what blockers in the company are there? What things are going on internally that are keeping you from being able to pull this off? You know, if we could just get this one thing done, then we could get all these other things done. Well, my job is to run interference and knock that over for them then. Mm-hmm. My job is to remove problems to make them more efficient, to make them more successful. And that's me serving them. But what you're caring about there there is not only what they do, but you're caring about them as people.
Yeah, and I've seen that at Ramsey Solutions. A lot of team members, a lot of growth happening, and they become leaders, and they have to navigate that, and they do it very gracefully.
Yeah, it's a different thing. There's one skill set to do things, call them makers. You know, you're in a creative position, and you're making creative things, or you're a developer and you're making websites, or you're causing things to happen. That's a different skill set than leading people. Sometimes a good salesman or sales lady doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good sales manager, a good sales leader, because leading is a different skill set than selling. Yeah. They're two different things. And so just because someone's really good at what they do doesn't automatically make them a leader.
Yeah, that's a good distinction there. This last one comes from Kelly in Michigan. Besides values alignment, how can we discern whether employees, especially leaders, are a good fit within the company culture?
We laugh a lot at our place. We cut up and carry on, and we're one of our core values is sarcasm. We have our own sarcasm font. And so if you can't, in other words, are you gonna fit in? Are you going to be one of the guys, one of the gals? And not in a political sense, not in a butt-kissing sense or something like that, but just, is this the people, like tonight when we get done with this event, all the guys producing this event and all the personalities, we'll all be hanging out together because we actually like each other, And that's what you need to have. You got to have that vibe. We enjoy hanging out together off hours, and so not just to get the job done and I have to tolerate the person. And that's what you're looking for with leaders. That's real culture. That's a place that people want to come to work, which is kind of weird, which is what we want to be. Success is weird.
Yeah, and I've seen this firsthand where we take our work very seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously, and that's what kind of helps create a little bit of that environment when we can still joke and have fun together, but still be real focused and intense.
Yeah, our big deal is, that you can't have, if you got to have blue M&Ms in the green room, you don't fit in.
No divas here.
No divas, yeah.
All right, Dave, well, thanks for being with us. It's been a lot of fun.